When I met the oncologist the first day, she told me I had about 2 to 6 weeks to live without treatment, and if the treatments worked, I would live approximately 6 months. I'm Anita Barrington, and I've been attending Centennial Road for about 25 years. I've lived in Brockville my entire life. I worked as an insurance agent in the early years of my career life. Eventually I was at Procter & Gamble for a number of years as a plant manager secretary. And then after I was married and had children, I decided to teach piano lessons, and I've had a very successful career doing that for over 25 years. I'm married to Roger Barrington and have 2 children, Ryan and Andrea. In October 2017, I had a small spot removed from my arm, and the biopsy came back that it was melanoma. The doctor assured me that we had caught it very, very early, and there was a 99.9% chance I would have no further problems. I thanked God and left very happily, feeling very relieved. The following year, I often felt very unwell and had many trips to the doctor. He ran lots of tests but could never find anything. Finally, in June of 2019, I was sitting at the kitchen table one day, and I remember saying, "Lord, I'm not sure how much longer I can go on like this." And instantly I heard him say, "Help is on the way." I noticed some swelling on my left collarbone and under my arm, so I went scurrying back to the doctor. He did a lot more tests, and again they all came back negative. I'd gone out to the pool for an early morning swim, and I walked across the family room floor and collapsed into a lazy boy chair, breathing heavily, and went into a deep, deep sleep. When I awoke, my daughter was looking at me very alarmed, and she insisted that I make an appointment and go to the doctor immediately. A couple hours later, it emerged after many, many more tests were run. The doctor came in, leaned up against the wall and sighed, and told me I had cancer in many places of my body. Over the next 2 days, while I was waiting for the appointment at the surgeon, I prayed, and God said, "My daughter, you will be healed." He said to me, "This is major surgery. It should have been done in the OR." He was very stressed, and I could feel his tension, so I began to pray for him. He finally found a tumor. He worked away for over 45 minutes, and finally he was able to extract it. As he pulled out the tumor, he said, "Oh my goodness, I have never seen anything like this in my entire life." And then he turned to me, because he could see how sick I was, and he said to me, "Why do such awful things happen to such nice people like you?" And without even thinking, I smiled and I said, "But think of all the blessings that are going to come from this." But I already believed God was going to heal me, and I couldn't wait to see what he was going to do and whose lives he was going to touch by my experience. God had already started his path to show me his miracles. When I met the oncologist the first day, she told me I had about 2 to 6 weeks to live without treatment, and if the treatments worked, I would live approximately 6 months. And at this point, there were people all over the world praying for me, people within our own church, people almost in every country, just all over the place. So when I went to go for my second treatment, for some reason I was very, very nervous and anxious about it. And my cousin's prayer team, one of the kind ladies on that prayer team, sent me a message, and she said, "When you get to your chair for your treatment, God will be there waiting for you." So fast forward into about May, I was standing at the kitchen counter one night making supper, and all of a sudden I heard God say, "Your faith has made you well." So the next week I went back to the cancer clinic, and the doctor came in and talked about future treatment plans and wondered how I was feeling and asked a whole lot of questions, and finally she told me my cancer was in remission. So of course I started to cry. I went to the car, and I phoned my daughter, and I phoned my husband, and I phoned my son, and we all wept and praised God for what he had done in my life. My cancer was in remission. God has really worked the miracle in my life that he promised me way back last July. The doctors, medical staff, nurses that have met with me, nobody understands why I'm fine.